and welcome to our class for today. I am teacher Ashi. So for today's video, we will discuss the lesson about the pronoun. So stick with me and let's all find out what is pronoun. Pronoun is a word that takes place of a noun. It acts as a stand-in for a noun. Stands in for a noun often to avoid the need to repeat the same noun over and over. Pronoun is like nouns. This can also refers to people, things, concepts, and places. Its main function is to replace nouns. Because of this, they are used in sentences in similar ways to nouns. It constitutes a relatively small class of words that tends to change over time. Pronoun commonly serve as the subject of a sentence, followed by a verb. Just like for example, I like to play chess. We have the subject I, which is the pronoun, and we have the verb, which is the word like. Pronoun also function as the object of a sentence, either direct or indirect object. Just like for example, can you promise her this? Our indirect object is the word her, and our direct object is this. Kinds of pronoun: personal, demonstrative, interrogative, possessive, indefinite, relative, reflexive, and intensive pronoun. Now let's discuss the kinds of pronoun. Personal pronouns take the place of names of persons, animals, and things. These are me, us, I, we, you, she, it, her, them, he, and they. For example, the more hurried you are, the slower you will be. Demonstrative pronouns, called a pointing pronouns because they are used to indicate or point out which is being talked about. These are this, these, that, and those. For example, these are her clothes. When we say personal pronouns, these are the words that refer to yourself, the person you are addressing, or other people or things. When we say demonstrative pronouns, it gives an information about the relative closeness of the things they refer to. Interrogative pronouns, used to ask questions. If they are with nouns, they act as interrogative adjectives, not as pronouns. These are what, which, whose, and who. Example, which do you prefer, Jenna or Jessa? Interrogative pronouns are used to introduce questions. Possessive pronouns for ownership because they show that a person owns something. These are mine, yours, ours, his, hers, theirs, and is. For example, that bag is mine. Mine is our possessive pronoun because it indicates that the bag is belong to someone. Indefinite pronouns take the place of nouns that mention specifically or indefinitely are definite pronouns. There's two kinds of indefinite pronouns. Singular indefinite pronouns, these are somebody, everybody, anything, everything, and etc. While plural indefinite pronouns, these are few, some, several, both, many, all, and others. For example, here's some apple, you can have it. Everybody stand up when the teacher called. Some and everybody are our indefinite pronouns because we cannot specifically mention or identify how many apple or people are in there. Relative pronoun, used to introduce a relative clause, a phrase that usually supplies more information about the preceding noun. These are which, whom, that, who, whatever, whichever, whoever, and etc. Example, find me the book that has money hidden in it. That is our relative pronouns because it tells the relation why book needs to be found for the reason that it has money in it. Reflexive pronouns, used as an object that refers to the same person or thing as the subject. For example, the puppy looked at himself in the mirror. Our reflexive pronoun is himself because the reflection that the puppy is seeing is same as him or himself. Intensive pronouns refers back to the subject of a sentence in order to emphasize it. These are myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, ourselves, and yourselves. For example, the detective himself was the culprit. Himself is our intensive pronoun. It may be confusing, but remember, intensive and reflexive pronoun are totally different. Reflexive is used to point the same person, while intensive, it also talking to the same person but to emphasize the subject. Reciprocal pronouns, used to indicate a reciprocal relationship between two people or things, where the members of group each perform the same action relative to others. These are each other and one another. Pronoun antecedent, a word or phrase replaced by a substitute. These are he, she, yourself, mine, and etc. Example, the furry cat licks its tail. When we say pronoun antecedent, this may be something the person you're speaking to said. This is usually mentioned in the text before the pronoun, but sometimes it comes just after it in a sentence. We have a pronoun antecedent agreement. When we say pronoun antecedent agreement, it means ensuring that the pronouns you use matches its antecedent in number, person, and gender. Just like for example, Amy feed her dog. We have the pronoun antecedent, which is singular pronoun, and that is her, since Amy is a singular person. When we use any type of pronoun, it is important to ensure that the antecedent is clear and unambiguous. If there is any ambiguity, use nouns instead. Some of pronouns, such as you and I, don't need an antecedent because it is self-evident to whom they refer. Pronoun determiners specifies the kind of reference a noun has. These are my, her, both, all, and those. Pronoun determiners. The distinction between the two is that pronoun can stand on their own as subject of a verb, whereas determiners are only used to modify noun, not acting as subjects or objects in their own. Just like for example, that is a difficult task, but that kid survived. The first that is pronoun and the second that is determiners, since it specifies the kind of reference that a noun has. And that's the end of my discussion. Once again, I am Princess Ashley Abon. Thank you for sticking and listening to me. I hope you learned and gained knowledge about this lesson.